he is doing more than we could have, than we did expect, or that we could have expected. He's a real plus to have around the team. And those coaches really think highly of him. And if things really went like we want them to go, we need to think about having some room available if we're going to pay a second receiver at that level.
All right, attempt number 4 of recording this video because my file just keeps getting corrupted. We'll see if this one stays. So if you're here, please like the video because this has been a major headache, and I had to get this video out because I wanted to talk about Jerry Jones' comments about extending George Pickens, and I think personally that the Cowboys extending him opens their Super Bowl contender playoff window even more. You heard the clip at the beginning of this video, Jerry talking about the possibility of the Cowboys paying 2 receivers top of the market money, and I wanted to be positive today, tell you guys a really good move that the Cowboys could make that would get this team back on track and winning games. We already rolled the intro, so I can't just, I just got to get into the video now. So a couple of reasons on why the Cowboys need to extend him, and then why I think that opens their window. Obviously, the talent level is immense. We've seen that over the past couple of weeks with CeeDee Lamb out. Pickens doesn't just bring that big playability to this offense that I kind of thought he would be with Lamb in the lineup. Lamb would do a lot of the things underneath in the middle parts of the field, and then Pickens would be that deep ball receiver like a souped up Michael Gallup. But Pickens has proven that he can literally do it all. He's just simply a fantastic receiver, and with Dak Prescott under center, he's probably a top 10 guy in the league. Like, I can't name 10 receivers that I would probably take over George Pickens at 24 years old. This guy just turned 24 at the beginning of this year. Why would you not want to keep that guy around? And then my second reason is stability and insurance for one of the NFL's best offenses for the next 3 to 4 years. You have this guy on your team, your offense is going to be really good for the next 3 to 4 years, and then he offers insurance. We saw what happened with CeeDee Lamb out of the lineup. The offense just keeps on moving along, scoring 30, 40 points a week, pretty much with ease. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this content, I just posted a George Pickens all-22 film breakdown yesterday. Go check it out. See how much he really means to this Dallas offense. So Dallas is going to be at the top of the league in every major category with Lamb, Pickens, Booker, BB, Tyler Smith, Jake Ferguson, Dak Prescott. Like, that is maximizing Dak's prime years. The best years of his career, these next few years, that's the window. 2026, 2027, and 2028. So to have that wide receiver 2, or really wide receiver 1A and wide receiver 1A, it helps maintain some balance. If guys are missing games here and there, the offense can just keep on rolling, right? There hasn't really been a hiccup since Lamb's been out of the lineup, and then once you get him back, it's going to be elite again. Not that it's already, they're just going to be scoring 40 points a week. And much of the concern when Pickens was coming to Dallas was around his behavior and maturity issues that apparently happened in Pittsburgh and all of that stuff. In Dallas, I mean, Jerry talked about it in his interview. He's been great. The coaches love him. The players love him. He's been a plus in the locker room. Of course, he was mad in Pittsburgh. He had an offense that didn't want to get him the ball. The quarterback physically couldn't, and the offensive coordinator was stuck in 2012 and didn't want to get him the ball. So being in Dallas, of course, he has a wide receiver that gets him the ball. He runs every single route on the route tree, and he's not constantly frustrated with trying to help his team win. He's been much more level-headed, grounded since he's been in Dallas, and I think that comes from playing with a better quarterback and being in a different environment. And I think that's worth extending. And then my fourth and final reason, and this is going to bring us into how it helps open the Cowboys window, right? You save draft capital and you don't have to draft another wide receiver early in next year's draft. We know how bad this defense is. For the next couple of years, it needs to be defense, defense, defense. Dallas already gave up a third-round pick, so why would you want to try to draft your wide receiver too early to help the offense when you have that guy here? And whoever you do draft, let's say in the second round or at the back end of the first round, they're not going to be any better than what you have right now with Pickens. Of course, I know it's going to cost a lot of money. Before we continue with me ranting about the Cowboys, I want to tell you about something that does make me happy, and that is Sleeper, the sponsor of the channel for the past couple of weeks of the season, and they're going to be the channel sponsor for the rest of the season. Sleeper is a ton of fun to play. It makes Sundays a lot more enjoyable, and I wanted to give you guys a couple of plays. This week, I'm not going to go with any Cowboys stuff. They're too hard to predict, so I'm going to go with a over half an anytime touchdown for Ladd McConkey. The same thing for Jonathan Taylor. I got a feeling that the Colts-Chargers game is going to be a ton of fun. 2 touchdowns for those guys, and let's go ahead and throw in another play for Kyren Williams over half a touchdown. That means if we get it correct, it turns $5 into $27. Sleeper is a ton of fun to play. Their interface is incredible, and if you guys join today with code DoubleMove, you get a 100% deposit match up to $100. That's right, DoubleMove, a 100% deposit match up to $100. Now, let's get back into the video. So I think extending a player like that opens the window because the offense will be fine. Not just fine, probably elite. You can pretty much leave it be other than plugging some back into the roster, backup offensive linemen, finding your 5th and 6th wide receiver, and you probably already have those guys on your team, but the offense will be elite. Tyler Smith, he's locked up for the next couple of years. You just paid him money. Tyler Guyton, he has 2 more years on his rookie deal with a 5th-year option, so a couple of more years for him. Tyler Booker has 3 more years in that 5th-year option, so maybe 4 more years after this one. Jake Ferguson is here for the long haul. You locked him up with a big contract. Dak Prescott, 2 to 3 more years on his deal. Lamb, a couple more years under contract. And then you have George Pickens for 3 or 4 years, depending on how long you want to extend him. 3 would really make sense. Give him as much money as you can kind of now because it fits in the window of opportunity. Sign me up for that offense. And trust me, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. That's a lot of money to spend on offense. And yes, I agree, it is. But I want you guys to hear me out, all right? Dallas has 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years. At the bare minimum, 3, maybe even 4, need to be defense, all defense. Any free agency spending that you have needs to go towards the defense. I know some people are going to notice that I didn't talk about Javonte Williams. I would like Dallas to go out and pay a linebacker $8 to $10 million in free agency instead and just draft a running back. If you can afford both, which you can make it work, put it on the cap credit card, I would do that as well. If you got to pick one, give me players on the defensive side of the ball, and we'll try to figure out the run game with Clayton Adams and Brian Schottenheimer, because the defense, it needs to be torn down completely and drafted and then spending in free agency to really bring it back up. Get some pieces in free agency, some mid-level signings at the second level, maybe a defensive tackle if you can find a guy that you really like. Maybe they trade for one this offseason because they're starting to realize how important it really is. These next 2 drafts would be all towards the defense. We'll plug some of the holes on the offensive side of the ball, but for the most part, you have your cornerstone pieces with Lamb, Dak, Booker, Guyton, BB, Pickens. The offense can't get much better than it already is, and letting Pickens walk and not paying him, $30 million per year, I don't think that helps you. Considering you gave up a 3rd round pick and you're not going to have a top 100 pick, it just doesn't make sense to me. The catch is, for the Cowboys, these next 2 drafts are going to be paramount. Those picks are probably going to be in the mid to late 1st round, but you can still get impact starters like edge rushers, cornerbacks, linebackers, etc. Those positions that you've struggled so bad to find guys that are difference makers, you got to hit on those draft picks. And that's a lot easier for me to sit here and say hit on those picks than it is to actually do. Finding a difference maker at 16 and 29 is not going to be easy. It's just time for this team to start drafting floor rather than ceiling. Don't go after the guy with crazy traits and think that you can coach him up and do this or that. Floor guys that are going to raise the floor of this defense, because it just needs to be the 20th ranked D in the entire NFL. It doesn't have to be number 1 for you to be a contender, because the offense is going to handle the rest of that. Target those premium positions, those premium defenders, at least a high impact edge rusher, pass rusher, a shutdown corner, players who can change the game, and then when you bring in a different system or a different structure on defense, they can be that player, that anchor for your new defensive coordinator, because I really don't think Matt Eberflus is going to stick around after this year. He's catching a lot of heat. Not sure he's going to want to be here if Dallas gives him the opportunity to just move on. And then I think about Brian Schottenheimer as a first-year head coach. Like, how do you keep that guy in the locker room? It seems like they're having some back and forth with the players and doing this and that. With Eberflus, I don't see him sticking around. You bring in your defensive coordinator and you draft guys who fit his scheme. Then with the rest of the guys, let them walk. Like Donovan Wilson, bye. Malik Hooker, bye. Kenneth Murray, contract's done. Jack Sanborn on a one-year deal. Like, all those guys, go. Diggs, you probably get out from under that deal, and then you start using that in free agency. Dallas just has the opportunity over the next 2 drafts, whether they sit there and select in the first round because they got players that they really, really like, or they start accumulating as many picks as they can so they can throw as many darts at the defensive board, trade back on those first-round picks, just get as many picks as you possibly can, because you got multiple levels of this defense to fix. The front 7, not good. The defensive backfield, not good. You can really start anywhere. BPA defensively, and then on the offensive side of the ball, you know you're going to score a ton of points. You just got to hope that the defense over the next 1 to 2 years, if you can get like just 2 players that are real difference makers, it would change this entire thing. I want you guys to let me know down below in the comments, would you do it? Would you extend George Pickens knowing that you're going to have 2 receivers, one at $34 million with Lamb, and then Pickens is probably going to be in that $32 to $34 million range as well? Would you guys do it? Now I'm going to recap why I would. Obviously, extending him helps sustain the offensive firepower that you have. The only reason that you have a chance in any of these games is because of your offense. You have a ton of contracts that you can get out of after this year, or guys are just expiring. You don't have to bring back. You're not paying a pass rusher $47 million per year. He's not taking up a whole lot of money. It gives the defense plenty of time to rebuild while your offense keeps you in games and they figure it out. I wish they would, but I don't think they're going to figure it out in 2025. They just don't have the players for that. But luckily, you have 4 first-round picks, people. That is insane. Could you imagine 4 first-round defenders on this defense? Those 2 picks from the first-round picks from the Parsons trade are going to be crucial, and Dallas has to pull those levers perfectly, and it could change the window for this unit. And I think it all starts with George Pickens. The success of this team hinges on marrying really good drafts with really good free agency spending. So that is my video on George Pickens. I hope you guys enjoyed. I want to see the Cowboys re-sign him, bring him back. Let's keep the offense rolling while the defense tries to figure it out. Worry about one side of the ball and have the offensive side of the ball locked up. That's what I would do. You guys let me know down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, this is my 3rd, 4th, 5th time recording this. I don't even know. Please like the video, please. I can't let this video flop after I wanted to post it so bad I just keep recording it. All right, I guess we're going to see if this one recorded. I love you all. Bye.